Oh my goodness, knuckleheads. What the hell was that? Wow, in all my time watching combat sports, I don't think I've ever seen a more exciting and amazing combination, co-main event and main event like we saw tonight, straight out of Hotlanta for UFC 236, Holloway versus Poirier 2. What an incredible co-main event and main event. Let's start with the amazing co-main event featuring one of the most exciting prospects and now a champion in MMA, Israel Adesanya, going up against Kelvin Gastelum. I was wrong on both these fights, by the way. I just want to preface this. I thought Kelvin Gastelum's wrestling and his heart, because of his wrestling, was just going to be too much for Israel Adesanya, and it turned out to definitely be a factor. Both of these fights were nothing but heart, but in the Gastelum-Adesanya fight, I thought Gastelum was winning the first round and actually dropped Adesanya. Then Adesanya came back and dropped Gastelum. It was just back and forth the whole time. Adesanya had a massive reach advantage, and you would have thought he had the much higher striking IQ and the striking advantage, but Kelvin Gastelum proved to be extremely good on the feet and gave Israel Adesanya a hell of a fight. At one point in the fourth round, I said, oh man, this is over. He's got Adesanya hurt. He just has to push a little bit and he'll get him out of there. And what did he do? He shot for the legs instead of finishing him off on the feet. I'm assuming he was probably just too exhausted to throw any more punches and decided maybe to hold on and go down for the legs just to maybe take a rest or something. But man, Adesanya was on Queer Street on that fourth round. And then the fifth round came out, and I don't know what the Nigerian term he used was, but it was something about heart of a lion. He kept repeating that over and over again after the fight. Israel Adesanya showed the heart of a lion. I did not expect that kind of heart, that kind of cardio from a striker against a wrestler. He came back, he put it on Kelvin Gastelum, and he went out there and he snatched victory from the jaws of defeat, literally. I mean, he pummeled Kelvin Gastelum in that last round and nearly finished the fight. Probably they could have stopped the fight, nobody would have complained. But what an amazing fight that was. I would love to see a rematch in that fight at some point, because it was really close. Again, Gastelum could have finished him in the fourth round, and Adesanya could have finished him in the fifth round, and it was just an amazing, epic performance. I definitely recommend you guys watch it. And then, you know, with all that anxiety and all that madness and all that adrenaline pumping through my body, I said, okay, here comes the main event. I don't know if I have what it takes to watch this main event. Do I have what it takes? I'm worn out. And then Max Holloway and Dustin Poirier come out and put on an absolute slugfest again. You know, both, just like in the Adesanya and Gastelum fight, hurting each other. Now, one thing that was apparent, that was sort of contrasting the way Israel Adesanya's height and reach was versus Kelvin Gastelum, was in the Poirier versus Holloway fight. You could tell Holloway was throwing a lot more volume and landing, you know, straight punches, and the power was a lot less than Poirier's. Man, Poirier was cracking Holloway. That's not to say Holloway wasn't landing his punches and hurting Poirier, but Poirier, was absolutely devastating Holloway with some of these shots. But my goodness, the chin on Holloway, that guy is an absolute warrior. That guy was taking some shots that would have put anybody out. And man, Dustin Poirier, he also showed the heart of a lion. I mean, in the third round, he even admitted it in the post-fight interview with Joe Rogan. He was hurt. He had to dig deep, and he came back and he prevented Max Holloway from being a double champ. I have all the respect in the world for these two guys. Another close fight, another great fight, but definitely Adesanya deserved to win. Poirier deserved to win. It was two wonderful fights. Luckily, they weren't marred by the judges' decisions, and I'm just blown away. I mean, apparently this now sets Dustin Poirier up to fight Khabib Nurmagomedov, since he's now the interim champ. And for Israel Adesanya, this sets him up to fight Robert Whittaker, who, since Adesanya is now the interim champ at middleweight. So, I mean, this is absolutely crazy. All I could think about was, wow, having the guy in Israel Adesanya from New Zealand fighting the guy from Australia and Robert Whittaker. I mean, that's going to be madness. They better hire extra security for that one. And then Poirier versus Khabib, that's going to be extremely interesting, because even though Khabib definitely has this on the ground, definitely has the advantage in the ground game, Dustin Poirier is an animal in the stand-up. He's got some super slick high-level boxing. You can tell he's been listening to his coach, Daya Davis, which, if you don't know, is actually the son of gold medalist Howard Davis, who we lost a few years back. I believe it was to cancer, so rest in peace, Howard Davis, a legend and Olympic gold medalist in boxing. But you can tell, man, Dustin Poirier's got some boxing, and this man's got some power. I mean, he could potentially clip Khabib and really hurt him. So for me, it's an exciting fight, and I know Poirier is not going to give up. This dude is a legit Louisianimal. So, you know, just to recap, that was the most exciting night of UFC fights, especially with regards to a co-main event, main event combo that I think I've ever seen. I don't ever think I've seen two fights back-to-back that were co-main event and main event that not only lived up to the hype, but completely blew away our expectations. That was incredible. UFC does it again, man. And, you know, having come from the boxing match yesterday, watching Lomachenko live at the Staples Center, and then watching this event today, you know, the difference for me in MMA and boxing is, man, you got the best guys fighting the best guys in the UFC. I mean, people say it's a monopoly. I understand there's not all these promoters like in boxing. But at least when you have this monopoly, you've got the best guys fighting the best guys. There was no A side. There was no B side in these co-main event and main events. Sure, there was a favorite, but there was no A side and B side. These people went at it. It was, you know, it forced them to be great. Fighting somebody that can give them a fight forced them to be great. And that's something I hope boxing comes around and starts doing once again. So, knuckleheads, those are my thoughts on UFC 236, Poirier versus Holloway 2. Tell me what you guys think. Please click the subscribe button below. We need to get to 1,000 subscribers to help our own fighters and fighters rep. We're going to keep putting these amazing kickboxing matches together with some of the most talented young men in the world. And pick up your fighters rep gear and check out our affiliates below. Every time you click that or buy something or sign up for something, it helps us with the promotion. So thank you so much. Comment, like, share, and please subscribe. We'll talk soon.